Hey you guys, it's me Bossy, and I'm here with a story time video. I know a lot of you guys have seen the videos going around here on YouTube titled story time and then whatever else their story is going to be about. I decided so y'all can know more about me. I like to talk too. I decided that I'm going to once a month do a story time video telling y'all some stories that's happened in my life. Some might be recent, some might be from the far past, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing that on my channel just to bring something different. And I love watching the story time videos, so I hope you guys are interested, and let me know if you would want to continue me doing this on my channel. Today's story time is going to be about the time that I peed on myself. Not as a little kid either, like in my 20s. I want to say that this was about 5 or 6 years ago. My grandfather had passed away, and we were having a funeral services for him. While I was driving to the funeral services, I noticed that I did have to use the restroom, but you know how you just think you might want to go to the restroom so you don't have to get up during the services. It was kind of like that. I got there, found my cousins that I'm really close to, and sat with them during the services. The whole time I'm thinking, oh, when this is over, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to run to the restroom before we go to the graveyard where my grandfather would be buried. Once the services were over, I get up and I was thinking, oh shoot, I don't really have to go that bad yet, so maybe I can just hold it until we come back from the gravesite. My cousins, they decided to ride with me because you know how after the funeral service is over and the families come back and they all eat somewhere, we were going to come back to the church and eat there. This is another crazy part. I'm guessing there were several other funerals that day because somehow my dumb butt ended up following behind another funeral procession. I think I'm saying that right? Another family's funeral cars. So when we turned in to where the gravesite was, I'm like, why didn't this look familiar? Like, I didn't see any of my family get out the cars, and my cousins were looking at me like, Basima, where are we at? Like, we were still in the same area, like where my grandfather was going to be buried, but somehow, like an idiot, I got behind some other family, and yeah, we ended up in a gravesite for another individual. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm wasting time. I go ahead, luckily get turned back around, and I find where my grandfather and the rest of my family is. We go to where where he's going to be buried, and we're standing and everyone's speaking, and this whole time I'm like, okay, my urge to use the restroom is getting a little more serious at this point. But once it's over, I'm trying to like skip back to my car, and we make our way back to the church. At this point I'm speeding, and I'm letting my cousins know like I have to use the restroom. We get back to the church, and I run to the ladies' room. I think it's like 3 stalls in there if I can remember, and all of them were full. I don't know if those people didn't go to the gravesite or if those were just people helping with the food preparation and they all were in the restroom. I'm not sure, but I tried to wait as long as I could. I decided that my grandmother, she lived like 4 blocks from where the actual, maybe 4 or 5 blocks from where the actual church was where we went back to eat. And I was thinking, you know what, is somebody always at the house? My dad actually, I thought, had went back to her house, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna hurry and jump in my car and I'm gonna go use the restroom at my grandmother's house. I tell my cousins I'll be back, I'm about to go to the restroom, I'm going to grandma's house to use the restroom because I have to use it and I can't hold it anymore at this point. I get in my car and I book it. The church was on like 40 something and my grandmother lived on 39th. I book it to her house and I see cars, so I'm thinking, okay, somebody's in there. I jump out the car and I run up on her porch, and I'm knocking and ringing the doorbell. Nobody's answering, and I'm like, come on. So I'm knocking and knocking, nobody's answering. I'm thinking, where the hell is everybody at? You know how you hold pee so much to the point where it feel like it's gonna start hurting? We used to live next door to my grandmother from the time I was, what, 5 till about high school. My dad's house was next door to my grandmother's house, but he didn't live in there anymore, but we still had the key. We still had access to the house. My dad had actually moved in with my grandmother to help her out. I still had access to the house. The lights were still on. A lot of the stuff in the house was still in the house. You know, and so I'm thinking the water's on too. Like, so I looked at my keys, and I remember I still had a key to the house, and I was hoping that they didn't change the locks. I opened the door, got in, booked up the stairs, cut on the lights upstairs, and went to the restroom. Right when I cut on the lights in the restroom, I went to lift the toilet and looked, and there's no water in the toilet bowl. So I, you know, try to flush it to see if water will come down. There's nothing but that little jingle little sound when, you know, the toilet's messed up or there's no water in it. Then I'm like, oh my God, I'm at this point where I'm like, now, do I just pee in this toilet and leave urine in the toilet bowl? I'm not about that life. At this point, I said, I can't think anymore, because I felt like if I moved anymore, pee may start to come out. I was like, you know what? Whoever was at the church, they should be done. So I said, I'm gonna make it back to the church. Got to the front door to lock the door, got on the porch, and I felt a trickle. And I said, oh God, no, please don't. I have to go down other stairs to get off my daddy's porch so that I can get to my car. As I'm walking down the steps, I am in pain because I have held my pee so long. My bladder was like, F you. I can feel the pee coming down. And at the same time, y'all, let me tell y'all something. You know how when you pee and you just like, oh my God, it's coming down, and I'm fighting to keep it in. But like, y'all, it is coming down, like coming down. By the time I made it to my car, I had completely emptied my bladder. I was full on free of having to use the restroom, and I could just see the trail from the porch steps all the way to my car of where I had peed on myself. I was embarrassed. I was like shamed. I was like, this is not happening, especially today. I'm not about to get in this car with my adult urine all over me. So then I'm like, okay, I done already peed on myself. So I run back, unlock the door, go back into my dad's house to find a towel to place in my seat. I'm going into all the bedrooms looking for towels. I went downstairs in the dining room thinking maybe it was something in the boxes. I go in the kitchen, I'm in the living room. I'm looking everywhere, and there's no towels at all in the house. So then I'm like, okay, let me go in the attic. And I didn't want to go in there because there was no lights, and when we lived there, there used to be, especially in the wintertime, there used to be mice, and I did not want to go in there. I go ahead and I go in there and I find 2 blankets, but I put them in my car and I drove home like with the speed of light. I'm surprised I didn't get pulled over and get a ticket. And in the process of driving home, my phone rings, and it's my cousin, and she's like, Basima, where you at? And I was like, oh, girl, I'm about to go home. They were like, why you not coming back? Because, you know, we haven't seen each other really in a long time. And so I was just like, yeah, I just don't feel good. I'm just about to go home, lying out of my teeth, because I refused to let them know me as a grown 23-year-old woman, or I was 23 or 24, peed on herself. I was not about to go out like that. I went home, I run in that house, and I ripped them clothes off, and I jumped in the shower and washed up a good 5 times. Like, it was not a game. My heels I had on, I threw them in the trash because urine got in them. Like, pee got in my heels. I was not about to keep those. It was like a lost cause at this point. My pants I had on, I washed them a good 4 times and still felt iffy about them. So I never know what happened to those pants though, because I haven't seen them since. That was the time that I peed on myself. It was so embarrassing. I haven't told anyone this till now. YouTube is the first to know. Fee and Rad, y'all probably don't remember, but that's the reason I didn't come back to the church to eat because I seriously peed on myself. So now the next time y'all see me, y'all probably be like, what? Are you serious? Yeah, I peed on myself. My advice to anyone watching this video is when you have to go, don't hold it, especially as you get older, because I think my bladder muscles are just like all over the place now, especially after having kids. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, if you guys want to keep seeing these videos, thumbs it up and I will be glad to do them for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye.